Studios. We thank you so much for joining us, and joining us now is Michael Cassidy. He's a candidate for Mississippi's 3rd Congressional District. Good morning, Michael. Thanks for joining us.
Sure. Thanks for having me on. Just something to follow up on your interview last week with Mr. Guest. You were talking about the Supreme Court police bill for a couple minutes, and something that never came up is the fact Mr. Guest didn't even vote on the bill. He's missed something like 40% of the last 3 months of votes up in U.S. Congress. I just wanted to clarify the record for people on that.
Okay, I got you. So I want to start out with understanding a little bit about your residency. Can you give us a description of that? Because I know that's come up some on the campaign. Tell us how you ended up in Mississippi, where you live now.
Yes, sir. I'd be happy to. So that's been one of the more despicable slurs that the Guest campaign has used against me is carpetbagger. And that demeans, it really demeans his own campaign when he uses words like that. And it also demeans all of our service members in the military who we don't have a choice in where we get stationed. We go where the Navy tells us to. So I joined, I was raised in Virginia, born in Maryland, but I was raised in Virginia, and I was up in Arlington on September 11th when the planes hit the World Trade Center, hit the Pentagon. And that is what motivated me, that anger at all our enemies that would do harm to our country. That's what motivated me to join the Navy. And I thought, you know, what's the coolest thing you could do in the military? And some people might disagree, but they're wrong. The coolest thing you can do is to fly jets off aircraft carriers in the Navy, kind of just like the most recent Top Gun movie. That was me. And so I got lucky enough with a pilot slot with some hard work. I flew F-18s out of Virginia Beach for the Navy. Then in 2016, they said, you're going to go be an instructor pilot in Meridian, Mississippi. And so I did that, got off active duty a year and a half ago, and I stayed here. So I live in Lauderdale County. I like it, like the community, like the jobs. I still fly as a maintenance test pilot, and I still fly in the Navy Reserves. And so the question is, so I've lived here for 6 years. I've been in Mississippi for 7 years now. And but part of what the attack is that people say, I just moved here a year ago. That's not the case. I've been here for 6 years. But every Navy pilot, we go through Pensacola, Florida. Yep. And Florida's got a good law, but they don't have a state income tax. So every Navy pilot, just about, we change our legal residency to Florida. No matter where we get stationed, we stay Florida residents. And so I was a Florida resident when I was on active duty. I voted in Florida. So 2016, 2020, voted for Trump. Then I got off active duty 18 months ago, became a Mississippi resident, registered to vote. I voted in every election since I got off active duty. Okay.
So you'll pay income taxes in the state of Mississippi now, right? Because your income is produced in Mississippi.
Yes, sir. That's correct.
Okay. Are you married?
Nope, not married.
What is your religious affiliation?
So I'm Christian, been Christian my whole life, got raised that way in a Episcopal church, but now in Meridian, I go to a Presbyterian church.
Gotcha.
So, and that's really, that's a center part of my life is Christianity. It's part of why I'm so adamantly pro-life. It's why I don't want to give a single dollar of money to Planned Parenthood. That's the real differentiation between my opponent and myself. I think that is a red line that somebody from the 3rd District of Mississippi, conservative district that we are, we should say no to any federal funding to Planned Parenthood. My opponent, he's given over $1 billion to Planned Parenthood. I think that's what the voters have responded to on June 7th, and they will again June 28th.
Michael, which federal program accounts for most of Planned Parenthood's funding?
So they get Title X funding via Medicaid, and it's something that they use to, as the largest provider of abortions in the nation. It's also something that, and I just learned this recently, that they, in some states, that they give children sex hormones, whether it's puberty blockers, something like that. That is something that is being funded by the federal government. That you're trying to turn a boy into a girl, which is impossible.
But it's Medicaid. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Money to Planned Parenthood.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, and I'm not trying to be rude, but we have a limited amount of time. Just want to get to the bottom of it. So, they get about $500 million a year from Medicaid. Do members of Congress vote annually on appropriating Medicaid?
So what needs to happen is Republicans need to stand up, and this is what the crux of the issue is, Gerard, is that for too long, just like how we've used Roe v. Wade, people said, Roe v. Wade's the law of the land, so, abortion's got to happen. Well, Mississippi said, no, we're going to fight this. And hopefully within the next day or two, we'll learn that Roe v. Wade was overturned. And so we've got some real momentum on the pro-life movement. And part of that we need to take to Congress in 2023 is we need to expand that momentum and say no more money to Planned Parenthood. Now I can understand what Mr. Guest and other people say, well, it's part of these big appropriation bills, and we got to vote for it.
It's really not, though. Right. Hold on a second, Mike. Hold on a second, Mr. Cassidy. So members of Congress do not vote on Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security, a number of other statutory established welfare programs, and then, of course, debt interest. That is mandatory spending, and Congress doesn't vote on it. They only vote on the omnibus spending bill or a continuing resolution, which is discretionary spending. That's where Title X is funding. It accounts for about $60 million to Medicaid. Their annual budget, I've been in their financial statements, is about $1.2 billion. $500 million of that comes from Medicaid, which funds Medicaid-eligible services. I'm all for kicking them out of Medicaid. The state of Texas and Louisiana already tried, failed in the courts. It's got to be changed at the statutory level. That requires 60 votes in the Senate. How would you get that done?
Gerard, we have to fight for it. We have to try to get it out. We have to put this in. We have to, when Republicans take over control of Congress, we have to say we are going to strip Planned Parenthood from being one of the organizations that Medicaid can give money to.
Okay.
That's what we have to do.
So
that's what we have to fight for.
Do they receive any funding for abortions?
They get money. So it's the same. The money that they get, it goes to the entire production. It goes to the entire production of their business. So the money goes. It gives the electricity that goes to conduct the abortion. It goes to paying the rent for these facilities that conduct abortions. It goes to the fees, the salaries of these abortionists. It goes to all of those things. It is all the same.
I agree with you. The money's fungible. I wrote an article on this about 6 years ago, and I implored the states to actually – states control Title X. It's a grant. And in Mississippi, there's a third party from the Department of Human Services. We get $4.5 million a year in Title X. And I actually implored the states to take action here and deny organizations that provide abortions from participating in Title X, which is a teeny tiny amount of money that Planned Parenthood gets. And you know what? The courts overruled it, wouldn't let them do it. Texas tried it. So how do we get 60 votes in the Senate? I just asked that again because the House itself can't pass legislation to ban Planned Parenthood from participating in Medicaid.
We have to have a backbone, Gerard. I'm glad that you've got the. You know, we're almost there. Like we're close to being on the same page. You're saying you don't want it. I don't want it either.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that this is what we have to go to the mat on. We have to go to the mat on life. The children, these unborn children, they can't defend themselves. We have to do that. We have to fight as hard as we can, and that means on some of these
You know that in 2019, 2020, and 2021, Planned Parenthood did not receive Title X funding. They opted out of the program unilaterally because Donald Trump passed an executive order in 2017 that said, so Title X, as you well know, is family planning grants. Unfortunately, when Planned Parenthood and other abortion providers receive those grants, they counsel abortion as an option for family planning. Trump said you can't do that anymore. They opted out of the program. Biden gets elected. He immediately reverses Trump's order. I just want to point out, Michael Guest's vote on Title X is identical to Donald Trump's.
So, but that's not changing the vote itself. And I'll tell you that a vote that was opposite Donald Trump was when Michael Guest voted for the January 6th commission bill that called everybody who was up there, every Trump supporter, a domestic terrorist. Donald Trump said about that Michael Guest was weak and ineffective. And we see that happen when he refused to debate. Gerard, would you be willing to have SuperTalk host a debate between us? So I love talking to you.
Absolutely.
Wrong.
Absolutely. I would.
Okay.
I need about 3 hours.
Yeah, I think it'd be great to have just a couple of moderators out there, me and guests asking ourselves questions. The viewers, the listeners, they want to hear that, and I think that we could really do it. Mr. Guest has declined every opportunity. It's a shame.
I know you've changed your position on allowing anyone to purchase TRICARE and Medicare. I've read your statement on that, and of course you know that that would cost a fortune. But if people are buying into it, it really shouldn't if they're buying the premiums. But the biggest thing is such a policy would completely kill the private insurance business, and we would all have government health care. You've evolved on that. We got about a minute left.
That's why it's not my platform. I do not support that at all.
Okay.
And that's something that's not something I support at all. And that the guest campaign, they said that. They said a lot of lies. One of the things that I do want to get back on, one thing Guest said on the show with you that there's no pushback on, which I understand there's short time. He said I'd attacked his family twice. That's despicable. I've never said anything negative about his family. The only thing I said about his family is I complimented his son.
Gotcha.
I complimented his son to one of his other supporters at the polls on Election Day. So it is despicable.
Appreciate you coming on. We're out of time. Thank you, Michael. Appreciate it, man. Talk to you later.